Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. It is time to review the first full week of SuperCoach, and we've stayed up late. There's nothing like a brutal WA game to end the round, and the final rankings just take a little bit longer to finalise. But look, you guys know I like to give it a bit of a live reaction, so I haven't looked at my ranking yet. I'm feeling it could be grim. I felt like this was a really hard week to get a grasp on things, and look, we'll dive into that first, but I just want to share a bit of a story over the week, and you know I enjoy a bit of a story. And look, have you ever lost your wallet? People who know me well will know that I misplace things pretty regularly, whether it's my keys, my wallet, or whatever, but ultimately they turn up, they turn up, they're never lost. They'll always turn up within a day, let's not hit the panic button too soon. But Friday night, go over to mum and dad's, watch the footy, Langus is around, it's a good time. Saturday morning, I'm like, where on earth is my wallet? It's not around, whatever. Grab some cash, we'll go out for breakfast, all good. I remember bought me fish and chips on the Friday night, got myself a burger, minimum chips, chicken salt, etc. So I knew I had my wallet. Because I purchased it there, so it had to be either in my car, at mum and dad's, or in my room when I got home. So I've torn my bedroom apart, turned it upside down multiple times. In the car, I'm getting, spotlights into places I've never even seen in my car. I've gone to the fish and chip store and the Thai place next to it. Has anyone handed in a wallet? No, I'm checking my letterbox in case there's a good citizen out there. Handing my wallet back in. All the meantime, no one's spending on it. So I'm thinking, well, if it hasn't been handed in and no one's spending it, then it must be somewhere that's hard to find. It's obviously in the vicinity. For the life of me, I could not find it. Had my Geelong membership card in there, my ID in there, and all these other cards. And yeah, you can replace them and that, but it's setting up, those repayments and different things they're linked up to, Macao, all this stuff, and it's just frustrating. Look, you can pay on your phone and stuff like that, but there's some stuff in there that you just got to get replaced. Anyway, I cancelled the credit card, had to get that one replaced because I thought, just in case. Anyway, I was at mum and dad's tonight for a bit of dinner, Sunday dinner, and we're looking through the couch and the lounge room where we were. Nowhere to be seen. And I kind of half jokingly said, it's probably just been wrapped up in the fish and chips, thrown in the bin. And mum was like, well, maybe. I'm thinking, come on, mum, as if, we're not going to trawl through the bin. I've trawled through enough stuff here. Anyway, mum, being the legend she is, goes through the bin. KFC bag. Because Langer's got KFC and I got fish and chips. Lo and behold, the wallet is deep in the KFC bag in the bin. How it got there, I've got no bloody idea. I cannot believe it. The relief I felt, I was like, thank God. All these things could have been, it's not the end of the world. But they're just those annoying, frustrating things about reordering this card or re-putting just annoying stuff. And I could not believe it. It's obviously been just, thrown all together and somehow, the wallet's just slipped into the KFC bag and, just in the way we've all just sort of packed up and put things in the bin. Unbelievable scene. So, look, a bit of relief. Sometimes you just got to get a win over the weekend. We didn't have too many on the SuperCoach scoring front. So, look, let's take a look at that now, shall we? And don't know that it was a weird week for SuperCoach, I felt. A lot of weird scores. 2,122 and we're ranked 32,000th. Eesh, not great. Look, honestly, I felt it could have been worse at one point. A couple of close losses in draft just to really rub salt into the wound. But yeah, just the whole weekend, it just felt a bit funny. Got a few things right, but then just a few things that I was just like, gee, I don't know about that. So let's go through these players. Sheasel was my skipper with a 106. Kind of thought he played better than that. I must admit, I thought he played all right, but maybe he didn't use the footy as well as he could have. But honestly, when you have some weird-as scores, some players really getting shut out, maybe your captain scoring 100 isn't the worst, because there weren't too many players that actually scored 100 for my team. Holmes was one of them. He was fantastic, particularly late, really lifted. Roberts was pretty good. He had a big second half. So he looks like a pretty handy pick, but this is where it starts to get a bit iffy. Obviously, I've exposed 2 rookies on the field down back, which were always going to be harder to predict, and I paid the price for that. I honestly thought both O'Sullivan and Reed played okay. Like, they'll link up with a bit of switch around play, get some marks, the occasional intercept, but they're going to be, guys that give you a 50 at their lowest, an 80 at their best. Probably not ones we want to consistently start on the field, but there wasn't too much else either. It wasn't like I had a good score or two sitting on the bench. Perryman's probably the really interesting one. Now, I wonder if this will give us his break-even. A break-even of 77. I actually thought it might have been more. So, I'm a big believer in giving guys a go. Now, he's had 2 games. I wonder if I can see his centre bounce attendance. He seemed to play a bit more defensively minded, which I think is fine, but he just couldn't find the footy. I thought first week 93 played pretty well. The other day, he just couldn't find the ball. Like, 13 touches is just not acceptable, and I'll see how much centre bounce time. It felt like he got reasonable centre bounce time. So he was a bit down. So Ned Long getting 22 centre bounce and still side bottom getting 20. What is that? What is that about? So I don't know. I'm torn on it. I'm really torn on it. The fact that he's got a break even of 77 sort of makes me go, look, we're not losing anything, so let's give it another go. Then you've got Sam De Koning just sitting there, who was outstanding. I've still got those same worries with SDK about whether he can be that successful against a big ruck, but like a Gorn or a Cherry, which the Cats have coming up pretty soon. But does he go to full back at certain times if the Cats need? I don't know. Does Reece Stanley give him a chop out? I'm not sure, but he was fantastic. He was mobile. He was everything. And then you've got Perryman, who tackling, loves a tackle, but not winning stack of the ball. I don't want to pull the trigger too early. I'm not sure. And look, the Cleary one just didn't work. Clearly, there's bigger fish to fry than his SuperCoach score. We hope the young man is all right, but there'll have to be some changing up there. Not really sure. And even someone like Fraser around Perryman's price was really good. So I'm not really sure on trades yet. Like someone like Sam Lawler, you'd think would be a strong consider. I think some of these rookies, it's easy to get them wrong. So there'll be some reshuffling on the rookie front. But let's take a look at the midfield. And LDU, like this midfield as a whole didn't really hit it, did it? One score over 100 and it just clicked at 104. Didn't really hit the mark. LDU hit the scoreboard, had moments of breakaway play, but 21 odd touches or something like that. Just not good enough from LDU. When we're paying that price, we need more, mate. So I'm really looking for him to hit back because he is my pod. So we need him to lift desperately. And Will Day, you could almost see it coming. You knew he'd get a bit more attention, and he certainly did. But look, I'm not too worried. Like, I've been on Day all pre-season, and if his floor is sort of a 70, and at his best he can knock out a 150, like, yeah, in a perfect world we get guys scoring 100, 120, 110. It's an easy, consistent ride. But if he is a bit more like this, high ceiling, does have some inconsistencies, like, we can still get a pretty good average if that's how high he can go. So I'm not hitting the panic button on him. I'm certainly clearly keeping him because he was so good that first week. People get a bit worried about him getting tagged out. Honestly, there's not too many teams that do a hard tag all the time. So I think it'll be more often than not he gets a free run at it. But gee, there were some tough tags, like someone like Lachie Neale just got destroyed by Jordan. Nick Dacos hit back a bit, but was kept quiet by Drew early stages. So Dacos, I think a lot of discussion around whether trading him out was the right move. I think it was. I think we'll definitely get him at a really nice price. His break-even would be huge at this point, and he's going to have the buy. He'll be a nice, tasty dish to trade in around 6 or 7, I reckon. So I think we made a good call there. Clayton Oliver, everyone's got him. Thought he looked all right. Wasn't his best performance ever, but hey, we'll take a 93 at that price, and everyone's got him. I think he looked pretty good at times, so we'll take that. Callahan, tonned up. Thought he looked really good. Wasn't his best on-ground brilliance like the other week. It was probably more the Toby and Tom Green show today. I thought they really lifted. late, but Callaghan had some key moments in what was a pretty good game. There was some absolute smashings over the weekend, but that game was a really good one to watch. And who would have thought Lockie Keefe just slotting the winner? Never would have pictured that one. But Will Ashcroft, actually haven't looked at his stats. Watched a bit of the game, but I was also at the Cats game, so it was a bit of a hard one to get a read on. Thought he found a bit of it. Maybe handballed a bit too much. I don't know. Yeah, he only had the 21. So, look, 8 clearances is good, but probably would have preferred him to get a bit more of the footy. Again, I'm not panicking on these guys. As I said, general rule is give them at least 2 games. And don't go trading out someone like Lachie Neale. We do all the research into premiums. So don't go trading him after one poor week. We all remember Rory Laird scored 50-odd in that first week. Still ended up averaging like 110 or something like that. So don't panic too much. But I tell you what, I was losing my mind at Hugo Garcia, who put in an absolute stinker, as did many of his Saint teammates. But quietish first half, particularly in the second quarter. Saints were down. They threw the magnets around. He ended up playing forward, found a way to kick a goal. Last quarter got a bit more centre bounce time, but I'll give him one more week. It wasn't anywhere near what we wanted, which was a real frustration. But like I said, give it a second week. We've got the amount of trades to reshuffle. There are some players on the chopping block, which we'll talk about in a moment. But yeah, let's not throw everything out after 1 week. O'Driscoll was really good. We love that. We'd take that. He's a real on-field option. Sardis just looked nervous early. Looked shaky, fumbly. Sort of worked into it, but didn't like it at all. Levi Ashcroft, fantastic. Probably would have started him on the field if I knew he wasn't sub, but that sort of happened quite late. But yeah, 84. We love that. We'll take that. Kako had some really nice moments. I think he's going to be a real nice cash cow for us. And Hasty scored 53 and was subbed off like early in the third. What are you doing, Ross? What are you doing to me? Like, he looked good. He looked clean. Everyone else is looking like trash. Why are we giving these opportunities to Zach Jones? Oh, my God. Come on, man. What is going on? Frustrated me like nothing else. Tom De Koning was fantastic. Thought he looked great. Boyd actually looked all right. He might be the slowest man on the field, but he actually worked really hard, and Marshall definitely played a fair bit forward, which and then went off icing the knee. So I think Boyd's got some number 1 ruck time coming up. And Flynn, 87. I don't know what's going on. I've seen him play 2 games, and he's been destroyed by Cherry and destroyed by Wits, and he's scoring 90. So I don't know what the go is. He's finding a way to score points, hit the scoreboard. Look, we'll take it because it was a risky one. Honestly, he got through the game, scored well. I will absolutely take that. Moving on to the forward line again, Horn Francis not at his best. Who was for Port Adelaide? Don't get rid of him. Hold the faith. Rankin, fantastic. That was one thing that was nice to feel a bit vindicated over the weekend. You know, TDK, I've been pumping him up. Rankin, been pumping him up. Holmes, been pumping him up. So, got a few things wrong, but it was nice to get a couple correct. And McRae looked really, really good, as did Bailey Smith. Cannot believe some people were fading him. Can't believe it. Sanders has to be a concern. Look, Caleb Daniel will be fine. He'll have better scores than that, but looked like the role was exactly what we're after. But yeah, Sanders, a 64. He kicked 2 goals, but just the centre bounce, they were there. Like, he had the numbers, but he just looks a bit nice sometimes. Like, just looks a bit, I don't know. We need him to just get in there and be a bit harder at the footy. I mean, the opportunities are there, mate. So, again, we'll give him another week. But, yeah, he's a watch. And Finn Layson, I thought, was actually really good. Again, it was a bit of a risk there, but 85 and an absolute drubbing. Really hard for any defender the way that ball was coming in. But he took some kickouts, intercepted nicely, actually used the footy really well. So I'm happy with that selection. I'm pretty pleased with that one. Then Hewitt and Davidson. Not great scores, but, you know, I think they'll be better for the run. So that is how the team fared. Like I said, I haven't thought deeply about trades, but Lawler's got to be a consideration. In terms of chopping block, like Sanders, Garcia, Perryman, all have to be, you know, guys that we consider chopping. I would have to have a bit more of a look at some of the break-evens and some guys, some rookie options. But yeah, again, I think Cleary will go this week. He's probably one that would go this week, actually, just because he's going to miss, and we may as well just, save that cash now. But yeah, it was far from ideal. And of course, we've got to also keep in mind that there's a couple of teams having the bye this week. So, yeah, food for thought. Really remembered how frustrating SuperCoach can be over the weekend. And you come in thinking, yeah, I reckon I've got this worked out. This team's different, but I like it. So I've got some work to do. But anyway, we'll be back live on Wednesday taking your questions. And we'll, of course, be doing some trade discussion later in the week. So I'll talk to you then. Cheers.